When we're talking about two of the best players in the history of the NBA right now, and possibly all time, you have to talk about LeBron James and Stephen Curry. Two players who had two very different rises to fame and prominence in the NBA and have dominated the game in their own ways and rights over the years. Ironically, they both have 3 rings, and many feel they'll get more in the years to come. But one thing that helped define these two is that they've met in the finals a lot. And this led to some big moments, and one key piece of trash talk that backfired heavily. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 6. Just to be clear here. Usually when you hear about trash talk in the NBA, it's usually between players that don't like each other, or they have a major grudge or some other beef. But in truth, LeBron James and Stephen Curry have a great amount of respect for one another. When Curry was in college playing for Davidson and turning the basketball world on its head, LeBron was there watching. When they were on the court together, they have a bit of a friendly rivalry because they know that they can bring out the best in each other. They're two very different players in terms of style, frame, and skill set, and yet they're both former multi-MVPs and finals champions. So there is a common bond between them that many other NBA players don't have. Now, do they talk trash? Of course they do. They're NBA players. They are supposed to talk trash, even if it's only in jest. But the most famous piece of trash talking that Stephen Curry did on LeBron was one that he truly regrets because of how things went down. Number 5. The lead-up. So if you somehow didn't know, the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers went and had one, not 2, not 3, but 4 matchups in the NBA Finals for 4 straight years. We're only going to talk about 3 of them for a very simple reason. They're the ones that matter here. You see, in the first matchup, the Golden State Warriors were one of the hottest teams in the league, led by, of course, Stephen Curry and his impressive skills behind the three-point line, and everywhere else. They won in 6 games against the Cavs, in which it was LeBron's first year back with them after winning 2 titles in Miami, and thus got the Warriors their first title in 40 years, which is a long drought, but they did it. Then, in the following season, the Golden State Warriors went off. They broke the regular season record for wins and got a record of 73-9, beating the Chicago Bulls, led by Michael Jordan, record of 72-10. And just about everyone felt that because they were so dominant that they were going to win the finals handedly, except once again, they had to go face the Cavs. Number 4. The trash talk. So now you know the story up to that second match in the NBA Finals. Curry and the Warriors seemed destined to win, and LeBron was desperate to finally win one for Cleveland, which he hadn't been able to do before. However, in Game 1 of the Finals, things went exactly as you would expect, mainly in that the Warriors won in decisive fashion. This led to an interview before Game 2 where Curry made the trash talk that would lead to his doom. Because when he was talking about the state of things and his expectations, he made a note that he hoped the locker room still smelled like champagne, referencing how they won last year and were all but certain to win again. Except that really made LeBron angry. In fact, he wasn't even asked about those comments from Curry and said that he was disappointed in reporters for not asking him about it because he had quote-unquote an answer to that statement. But he walked off before reporters could honestly ask it. Number 3. The 3-1 lead. So, at this point, you might think that LeBron responded with a triumphant rise to action in Game 2, right? Except he didn't. Things were a little chippy between LeBron and Curry, but it didn't go too far outside of a shove or two. Fast forward 2 games, and the Warriors were up 3-1. This is important because in the history of the NBA Finals, no team had ever come back from a 3-1 deficit. And just about everyone felt that with this dominant lead, the Warriors would win. And to this day, many felt they should have. But number 2. The slow walk back. Starting in Game 5, the Cavs took things to another gear. They got more physical, they started throwing their weight around, and as good as the Warriors were, they just couldn't put them away. Now yes, there were some lucky breaks on the Cavs side, including defensive powerhouse Draymond Green, who also had some trash talk during the series, getting a suspension for having too many technicals after a low blow on LeBron. But suddenly, the Cavs were back in it. They forced a Game 7, and to the shock of the entire world, the 73-9 Warriors lost, giving the Cavs their first final victory ever, giving LeBron his 3rd ring and giving him validation for everything he had done, past and present. Now, is the trash talk solely responsible for the Warriors losing that series? No. There were a lot of factors, And you never, ever want to give motivation to someone like LeBron James to win and shut people up. He's had to do that much of his career, especially when he went to Miami. So yeah, that backfired on the Warriors in that finals. Number 1. The Revenge Series. So what do you do after you lose a finals in terrible fashion, after one of the most dominant seasons in NBA history, and thus sully what should have been a perfect season? Simple. You go out and recruit one of the best NBA players in the league to ensure that it doesn't happen again. And that's exactly what the Warriors did. They went to Kevin Durant, who had just ended a tough time in OKC, and told him that if he came to their team, they would win multiple titles. While it took some adjusting, as Kevin was a different kind of player than Curry, they did indeed dominate, and they once again went to the NBA Finals, where they once again faced the Cavs. But this time, it wasn't even close. They beat them in 5 games, got their second title in 3 seasons, and gave some vindication to Durant, who was touted as a villain for going to the Warriors. But wait, they weren't done, because the next season, they went right back to the finals, went back up against the Cavs, and they swept them out of the finals as if they weren't even there. The Warriors had a dynasty. Curry had 3 rings like LeBron. And all was right with the world. After that finals, LeBron left for LA, and the Warriors went to yet another finals, only losing because 2 of their best players were injured by the time they got there. But still, their dynasty stands. And while there'll always be trash talk between LeBron and Curry, you know that they'll give their best every time they're on the court with one another. So there you have it, a look at the rivalry between LeBron and Curry and how it affected 4 different NBA Finals series. Can you believe that Curry had trash talk that backfired so badly? Between these two, who gets their 4th ring first? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.